November the 15th, 1999, we're here at the old Vineland Speedway. I'm standing approximately on the starting line of the drag strip. We're looking straight down the drag strip toward the finish line. There's going to be some construction here. The old Vineland Speedway is going to cease to exist. South Jersey hospital systems are going to build a big hospital complex on this land. That'll be the end of Vineland Speedway. These are some of the remains of the grandstand area from the Speedway. Had some fairly large grandstands at the track. They were made out of cinder block and had wooden seats. The Speedway used to seat between 3,000 and 3,500 people in its heyday. More grandstand remains. Not very much left. It's all on the ground. This shot is looking into the infield of the old Speedway. The Speedway was open from 1955 to 1965. And needless to say, during Speedway operations, all these trees were not on the infield. If you see some old photographs of the Speedway in its heyday, this was flat, gravel, not even a bush on it. It's certainly grown up since 1965. In 1955, a Tony Caccaro and Rocky DiNatale approached Bill Nocco about building a speedway here, and Nocco went ahead and built the speedway, and when it came time to pay the bills, Mr. DiNatale could not come up with the money. So Bill Nocco and Tony Caccaro ran the speedway on their own. Eventually Nocco bought Caccaro out and owned the whole facility. The speedway was dirt when it was first built from 55, 6, and 7. Before the 1958 season, Nocco paved the facility because the dirt was just too much work to get a good racing surface built on it. And also he did not want to compete with Alcyon Speedway in Pittman, which was a dirt track. I'm standing in turn 1 of the Speedway. The Speedway was quite a facility in its day. It had a half-mile stock car oval, a quarter-mile drag strip. It also had a 1.5-mile road course for sports cars and motorcycles. The drag strip starting line is here in turn 1. We're going to proceed over toward turn 2. We're still in the turn 1 area of Vineland Speedway. Here's some of the old guardrails still standing. Been here for a lot of years. I'm sure it met all the safety requirements of its day. We're about right in the middle between turns 1 and 2. We're facing turns 2. It's amazing as much of the asphalt is still here. Standing in the back straightaway of Vineland Speedway, just came out of turn 2 and we're looking toward turn number 3. As we go down the straightaway here, there's also a dog leg in the infield that was used for the sports car track, and we'll get that on film as we get to it. We're still looking down the back straightaway toward turn number 3, and right here as I pan to the left, this is the dog leg for the sports car track that used to run through the infield of the stock car oval. Standing on the dog leg of the sports car track, looking across the infield, as you can see there's a few flat spots left, but mostly trees. We're looking over toward the grandstand on what used to be the front straightaway. This is the entrance to the pits. These pits were used by the stock cars and drag cars. This is in the middle of the back straightaway. And this is what's left of the pits. Like everything else, got really grown up over the years. part of the entranceway into the pits. The road came down from Delsea Drive, and the pit entrance came along behind turns 1 and 2. Came here into the pit area. I'm now standing in turn 3 of Vineland Speedway. This is looking directly at turn 3, and I'll pan here to the left. This really was the entrance of the dogleg into the infield from the sports car track. When they ran stock cars here, the state law mandated it had to be guardrail all the way around the track. So they had these openings put in the asphalt, and they would put an I-beam down in here and then attach the guardrail to it. And that would close the opening of the sports car dog leg. It would also close off the drag strip over in turn number 4. This is a view of the sports car track as it went back toward the Cumberland County College. Made a little S there, went down the hill back toward the college. We're pretty far back in the woods right now. This is looking down the sports car track toward the Cumberland County College. This part of the track was also used as a return road for the drag cars when they ran through the quarter mile. They went around the sports car track, came up this road, and as I pan around here, they continued on down this road and right into the pits that we were in a little bit earlier. During the sports car races, the cars came down this road, came along here, went around this little S turn there, and went on over into the infield of the oval. The sports cars would come around this S turn, come right by where I'm standing. They would cross over the stock car oval and head on down that road right over there. That's going into the dog leg that's in the center infield. This is what's left of turn 3. We're standing right about at the entrance of turn 3. I'm going to head around toward turn number 4. A few more of the old guardrail posts. We're still standing here in turn number 3. And right now we're between turn number 3 and turn number 4, heading toward turn number 4. There's one of the biggest sections, the old wooden guardrail itself still standing that I found. I'm standing in turn 4 of Vineland Speedway, looking back toward turn number 3, where we just came from. Turn number 4 is where the drag strip continued straight and the oval turned off. I'm standing right in the middle of the intersection between turn number 4 and the drag strip. We're looking toward the starting line of the drag strip. The grandstands used to be on the right hand side, and on the left is the infield. There's some beginnings of some construction going on sitting right here. That wasn't there the last time I was here in 1996. The finish line of the drag strip is directly behind me. Now we're looking the opposite direction. We're looking straight down the drag strip toward the finish line. On the right in that woods there used to be the sports car pits for the sports car racers, and we'll take a walk through there. We've been walking down the drag strip, and here on the right, this would be the entrance to the sports car pits. Sports cars came around the oval in the opposite direction from the stock cars, came down this drag strip. This was their long straightaway, and all the way down there back, now it's on Cumberland County College land. The track made a turn to the right and then snaked through the woods. This is what's left of pit road for the sports cars. There's some guardrail on the right. The guardrail on the left looks like it's only about 15 feet wide, awful narrow by today's standards. We had some famous race car drivers race here at Vineland Speedway. Roger Penske raced sports cars in his early days. Bobby Allison also ran stock cars here at Vineland Speedway. Vineland Speedway was one of the best drag strips on the East Coast. Many a great super stock and AFX meets were held here. Don Nicholson was here. Phil Bonner, Ronnie Socks. Had some local cars, the Chicken Coop Special, which we'll show a couple pictures of later in this tape. Hartley's Garage. Now we're looking back toward the start line again. Some more famous drag racers that ran here. Hayden Proffitt was here. Bill Lawton with the Tasca Ford Thunderbolt was here. Malcolm Durham with his Z11 Chevy. This was a great drag strip for stock and super stock in that era. Vineland Speedway was known as a track with traction. Okay, boys and girls, hang on. We're going to take a ride around the old Vineland Speedway. We're coming out of turn 4 onto the front straightaway. The grandstands would have been on your right. The infield is on your left. We're heading out of turn 4 down toward turn number 1, which was also the starting line of the drag strip. Okay, we're right here by the drag strip starting line, also entering turn number 1. Hang on, here we go. A little bumpier than it used to be, I'm sure. I don't think Al Tasnady and Frankie Schneider and Wildman Elton Hildreth or all those guys had to dodge these trees and potholes when they were here. Now we're coming around turn number 2, heading into the back straightaway. Now we're out of turn number 2, heading right down the back straightaway. The stock car and drag racing pits are on our right. The infield is on the left. We just went past the dog leg for the sports car track. We're heading toward turn number 3. Okay, right now we're in turn number 3. That was the sports car track that just went by. Oop, gotta dodge some more trees. Going around turn number 3, heading toward turn number 4 and the front straightaway. And that's turn number 4 right straight ahead of us. There's a big hole there. And we're around turn number 4 and pulling back onto the front straightaway. That completes a lap of Vineland Speedway. The grandstands here at the Speedway were built on top of about a 3-foot high embankment, which gave a great view all the way across the track. Again, we're looking down the drag strip toward turn number 4. The first stock car feature here in Vineland Speedway was won by Al Tasnady on April 13, 1955. The last stock car feature was won by Joe Kelly on July 30th, 1965. Now we're looking back toward turn number 1 and the drag strip starting line. The track all-time feature winner here at the track was Wildman Elton Hildreth. He won 32 features here at Vineland Speedway. Got the nickname Wildman because he says he drove harder than anybody else. I know 16J was either loved or hated back here at Vineland. Some of these trees back here behind the starting line, myself included, had a lot of people climbing those trees watching the races because we didn't have money to get in. Can you see climbing a tree at one of today's big NHRA meets and watching the races? I don't think that'll happen. They wouldn't want to lose that admission price. This used to be the parking lot where the public parked their cars at the Speedway. This road out here is now called College Drive. It used to be the entrance road to Vineland Speedway, and it ended here at the parking lot. Now it continues on, it crosses over the drag strip, goes on to Cumberland County College and out to Sherman Avenue. This was all parking lot back in the heyday. This is a back view of what's left of the grandstands. Can't see anything but trees from this angle. This road is now called College Drive. The cars you're seeing going across is Route 47 Delsea Drive. Cars used to come down this road. They had a cable divider up, and the race cars would be on the left of the divider as we're looking right now. They would come down this road, make this turn here, and that was the entrance to the pits where that tractor trailer is now parked. The spectators would go on the other side of the cable and they'd go straight into the parking lot. We're now on the back portion of the sports car track back by Cumberland County College. And we'll take a ride up through the sports car track and see what we can see. Well, you can certainly tell that this is an ESPN, huh? Saw a couple Cobras racing here once. Boy, they sure were the class of the field that day. Now we're coming to the, it's like an S turn. Around here to the right. And the dog's around to the left. Now we're about to cross the stock car oval and go into the dog leg in the infield. Crossing the oval right now. This is the dog leg under the infield. On our right now would be the grandstands. Right now we're in the middle of the infield, heading back toward the stock car oval. And we come out here right onto the oval. Now we're heading in the opposite direction from the stock cars. This would be turn 2, heading into turn, we're heading into turn 2, heading toward turn 1, just the opposite of the way the stock cars ran. Got to dodge these trees. Now we're going around turn 1, heading toward the drag strip or the front straightaway. Big bump. And now we're on the front straightaway, heading down the drag strip or the long straightaway for the sports car track. That's turn number 1 on our right. We're going down the drag strip. As you can see, there was a little rise in the drag strip. That didn't seem to bother the stock, super stock cars. Maybe a drag strip might. On our right is the entrance to the sports car pits. And we're heading toward the end of the line. This is where College Drive now crosses the old drag strip. That's the exit of the sports car pits, and we're at the end of the road. Can't go any further. One of the more famous drag racers that raced here was Jack Worst. He came in here in 1964 with his own car, a 64 Plymouth called the Jersey Duke. Came in here for a big super stock meet. He won the whole event. He beat all the factory boys with his own car, and that was the beginning of his affiliation with Chrysler, and he went on to be known as Mr. 5 and 50. Here's some more of the remnants of the old grandstands. A back view this time. This would be from the parking lot side of the track, looking through the stands toward the track. More remains. What a shame. Just doesn't seem like a fair ending to a great place. And this brings our visit to Vineland Speedway to an end. I would say probably over this winter, the South Jersey hospital systems will get there okay, and all this will be torn down and forgotten, and it'll become nothing but a hospital. It'd be more fun if it was a speedway. We're on Route 47, about halfway between Vineland and Millville. This is the Delsea Drive-in Theater. It's been closed for quite a few years, but I guess it's going to go away. I see a for sale sign on it. Take a ride around the inside and see what's still here. This is the entrance road to the drive-in. That's the ticket booth where we used to stop and pay for our tickets. Sometimes people might even sneak in the trunk without paying for tickets. These light standards line the entrance road. No more lights, just a bee nest. This is a ticket booth that you would stop buy your tickets at the entrance to the theater. Been pretty well tore up. Everything in here had been destroyed. We're inside the drive-in theater now. It's amazing the screen is still in, looks to be in pretty good condition. But you can't say that for the rest of the place. That building there, that was the projection booth. What's left of it. As we pan around, that used to be the snack bar. All eaten out by fire now. And we're panning around, this is the rest of the theater. Funny, I didn't expect to find any speakers left, but all the speaker posts have been knocked down. Some people have quite a sense of humor. This is what's left of the concession stand. Looking back over the drive-in, I was wrong before. There's still a few of these speaker posts standing. Over by the entranceway, they're all knocked down, but still no speakers. I guess they're worth money to nostalgia fans. And now we're at the back of the concession stand. I see a speaker pole farm. This would be the back of the projection booth. We'll take a look inside, see if there's anything there. And this is what's left of the inside of the projection booth. I guess somebody was living in here. I'm glad they weren't in here when I came in. And there's the big screen. That's in amazingly good condition. I guess that's about all there is to see here at the old Delsea Drive-In Theater. It sure was an active place. I can remember cars being lined up down the entrance road and up Delsea Drive, both going toward Vineland and toward Millville to get in here. It was a real popular place in its day. This will conclude our visit to the Delsea Drive-In Theater. I see for sale signs are up out front. I guess this will turn into a shopping center or something. Be better if it was a drive-in. That building there is at the very back of the drive-in theater. That was the old Vineland roller skating rink. And I can remember going into the roller skating rink, going into men's room and peeking out the window, and you could watch the movies that we were too young to get in to see back in those days. Sure seems kind of tame by today's standards.